So you're not a fitness coach yet, you're a digital marketer in a very overcrowded pool of other digital marketers that are selling to a very vulnerable crowd, right? Because nobody in their right minds that have been training for a few years are coming out and buying these 3-month long transformation plans. So you have to understand the crowd that you're selling to is extremely vulnerable. These are people that have probably never had any kind of a training program go beyond the first 3 months. And I would honestly place you guys a couple of levels over another group of professionals that are encashing on another extremely vulnerable human emotion, and that's the fear of uncertainty. So I'm talking about all kinds of spiritual coaches and your, fortune tellers and whatnot. And they understand how vulnerable their crowd is and how easy it is to sell some kind of products and services that offer people certainty in the face of uncertainty. And selling to people, reducing them down to a label, whatever it is, their body fat percentage, or so you guys also digital marketers at this point, not fitness coaches. You guys are also, you have identified a crowd. You have identified that there is a service that you can provide that these people will buy. It's like selling water to people that have caught on fire, and that's what you're doing. The moment you make somebody that walks into your gym or buys your product or your service, and the moment you reduce their entire personality and their entire being, whatever they are, their individual unique strengths, weaknesses, attributes, we are making them get on scales and reducing their entire personality down to their body fat percentage, putting this huge label on them. We are telling them and we are reinforcing what could already be a very ugly thought cycle inside their minds, that to feel any kind of validation or social appreciation, or just to feel a little bit more included, this label has got to go, right? The fat has to disappear. And in a world, in times where individuality matters so much, where it is being talked about so much, not that it has not mattered in the past, it's always mattered. In any times, that's one of the most appalling atrocities that I've ever seen happen in front of me. What I just talked about. So I said you guys are, it's like I said, you want to imagine that it's this very small overcrowded hill. Everybody's trying to climb this hill and get a view from the top. And on the top there are people that have machinery that works extremely well to position them on top of that hill. So it might not even be possible for you to ever get to that point, right? And keep in mind that I keep saying that you're on a very small hill, because as long as you operate like a digital marketer, you are going to be there. And if you understand that you are a fitness coach and not just a digital marketer, then you will also understand that your business, the same thing that you're doing to people when you're reducing them down to one single label, is also something that you're doing with your business, because you're reducing your entire business down to one single local maximum, and that is how many units can you sell. You're operating like a digital marketer and forgetting that digital marketing is only one part of the whole business. The business is actually a collection of many small hills, and perspective is everything. When somebody is climbing the Mount Everest, they are not thinking about climbing any other 8,000er peak, right? All they can think about is Mount Everest. So you have to zoom out, you have to pan out a little bit and understand that if you don't want to reduce people down to labels, do not do that to your business. Do not reduce that down to digital marketing. It's a lot more. As much as it is about how much can you sell, it's also about how well are you developing the product over time. Because the thing is, and you guys must have heard it in a lot of other places, that it's simple statistics, ensemble observation versus time observation. We are biased towards any one of them. Usually it's observing, or whenever you're thinking about your own business, you're thinking it in relation to or in comparison to others. How is my business doing at this point of time in the economic pool that I'm selling? And the answer to that is not always going to be good. But what you also have to understand is that it is not just about what is happening in this instance of time, because time goes on. So it is also about how long can you do it for, or the people that you're comparing yourself with, the corporates and the other competitors that you're comparing yourself with, how long are they going to be around? And if you truly want to build something for the long haul, if you actually want to be a fitness coach and you want your business to be viable, one of the best things, one of the best shifts that is going to come out of you actually trying to build a system that works for these people. And that is a system that will respect their individuality, that will actually address what their own unique weaknesses are, that will actually respect and let them explore what their own unique strengths and attributes are. And then you make them into somebody that can just go out and get after or chase after whatever goal they desire to, or they want to. And if you can truly do that for somebody, then you don't need to get stuck in the race of how many programs can I sell right now, or how many programs am I selling in comparison to one of these big corporates right now. Because understand that if that is all that you're doing throughout your day, then you're pumping time, resources, money, energy into climbing that small hill that is already overcrowded, and it's overcrowded by people that have much better climbing abilities than you, if you get my point. There are hills that are empty. There is a very small group of people that are realizing that their business is a collection of multiple hills. There are people that are not focusing on regularly auditing what their product or services are. And the thing is, I understand it's a little difficult, right? Because if you try to do that, if you try to build your business up like that from scratch, systemize it, put processes and systems in that are principally correct, fundamentally they work for you, then that's a lot of work. That these things initially don't pan out like you want them to. It's exactly like fitness training is. Everybody knows what the gas cycle is. If you are a fitness coach, you must know that general adaptation syndrome. Training is nothing but putting some kind of a stress on your body. Your body has to stay in that state of stress, and eventually it finds out a solution to get out of it, and it starts thriving at a level that's higher than the level of the stress that you applied it on it in the first place, which is basically a lot of technical jargon for just simply saying that for any kind of growth to happen, you have to climb out of a huge pit of deficit. So when you build a business up like that, initial few days, you are actually going to put, you're going through, you will actually have to go through stressors and actually have to stare into the deficit for what it is. And there's just no other way for you to build any kind of a surplus if you are not climbing out of that deficit. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like this mirroring principle where the value that you will provide out of, helping somebody go from a point where they were clearly not able to do something because they were in their own way, and you help them get them out of their own way, and now they're able to do that. The value that you end up providing when you do that, and the appreciation that you get out of that, it's just invaluable, and it sets you up in a position where you can actually build a business where you don't have to care about selling, about how many programs you're selling, because the people that you're selling to are with you for the long haul. So, and in doing so, and in trying to, it's all first principles, right? So in trying to answer the question to how do I actually build a system that works like that? How do I actually build, workouts and exercises that help people address whatever their limits are? In doing so, what do you end up doing? That is where continued education comes in. And that is where you go out and get the information for that. You understand what the principles are that you need to know to build the system, to answer these questions. And again, mirror principle, right? You changed your business and you changed your service in a way where now you're not selling some arbitrary programs to people, 3-month, 4-month programs. You are actually helping people become fitter versions of themselves, right? You're doing that from scratch. You're finding the answers from them from scratch. And in doing so, you have to put in the work to collect the information. So the education that you end up gaining in the whole process, you are going to be aligned with that. So understand that is the only escape out of this winner takes all economy where, people are being fit into this one single box and this one single, way of doing things, these ideal models of doing things that exist everywhere. And we are not respecting individuality and fitting people into this ideal model, and then we are providing one single path to success, and then everybody is expected to succeed, which is just not possible, and it's also not panning out everywhere. You can look wherever you want, education, gyms, wherever you see, where there is a winner takes all system where only a single path to success is provided, you will see 90% of people just not doing well, and a very few of them succeeding. Right? So it's happening with you as well. Think about your certifications and whatnot. What are certifications? They tell you that, okay, this is what certifications are telling you. They're telling you that this is a random course material. You do my course material, you answer the question that I want you to answer, and pass this completely rigged exam, and I'll give you a certification that gives you validation to go out, practice and make some money. That's all certifications are. The course material of the top 10 certifications are exactly the same. They are just different bastardized, versions of each other. And the only way you can escape that is by working with people. And when you work with people, you will come across questions. And when you solve those questions, the answer to those questions is what is going to educate you. And that is how you make that education aligned with yourself, or you make yourself aligned with your education. And that alignment will never come if you're just studying a random course material just for the sake of it, just because somebody said that this is how you get validation to practice, right? And then you do go out and do the same thing with people, right? You stop fitting them into these models where your physique is what defines your fitness. If you lose the fat, I will validate you. Your social circles will validate you if you get in shape. And what you're essentially telling them is that this is an ideal way of doing things. If you can fit in this ideal way, then you're good. But the thing is, everybody's not going to fit in it, because you're proposing one ideal, and there are millions of people that you're trying to fit into this ideal. So it's just not possible for that to happen.